The numbers don't lie, Patriots. Reporting from Washington, D.C. tonight, I can tell you that President Trump's border policies are working so well that even Democrats can't spin their way out of it. Border Patrol Chief Mike Banks has confirmed an astonishing 95% drop in illegal crossings at the southern border. So let that sink in. In just 44 days, Trump has nearly solved the crisis that Biden let spiral out of control for 4 years. And the contrast couldn't be more stark. Trump is removing, in his words, illegal immigrant scumbags from our streets, while Democrat mayors like Boston's Wu are telling illegals, you belong here. Border czar Tom Homan is now searching for 350,000 children who went missing under Joe Biden. And President Trump's border success mirrors what's happening with breakthrough pain management. Just like he found a solution to the border crisis that previous administration claimed was impossible, medical experts have discovered a game-changing pain reliever. Conolidine is revolutionizing pain management for Americans suffering at the border of endurance and desperation. This 100% drug-free compound optimizes your body's natural endorphins, delivering complete relief without dangerous side effects. That's why over 1 million Americans and countless professional athletes have embraced it. Unlike addictive pharmaceuticals that crossed our borders under previous administration, Conolidine is certified drug-free, non-habit-forming, and backed by 14 years of clinical research. You can try it risk-free for 90 days at less than $1 per day. So hit the link in the description, trycono.com/NNN. You have nothing to lose except your pain. And joining me right now, we have Chris Kohls. He is from the YouTube channel, Mr. Reagan. He is the one of the most beautiful men on the internet. Most handsome man.
I paid him to say that.
He's a handsome man here. So what do we got here? This is the vice president 6 hours ago at the southern border. Let's listen in.
I said, is that the federal government? We took the helicopter ride over here, and we saw a big chunk of border wall. And I said, is that the federal government's border wall? And they said, well, it was ordered during the first Trump administration, but Joe Biden wouldn't let us actually build it. Governor Abbott, of course, was the one who actually helped us put a lot of that stuff up. And, of course, that stopped the flow in a pretty profound way. We'll talk a little bit more at the press conference, but as you saw, the president said yesterday, I think it's maybe the most important part of his speech, is that we didn't need new laws to secure the border. We needed a new president, and thank God we have that. I've heard already from a number of the folks that I've talked to in Border Patrol that all we needed to do was empower these guys to do their job. Thank God they have done their job. We're thrilled that they've done it. And now we've seen, I think just in this area, border crossings go from about 1,500 a day to 30 a day. That's simply the President of the United States empowering these professionals to do what they do so well. So,
oh, man, finally we're getting some answers at the border.
Yep. You know, that was one of the best moments of his speech last night. He said, you know, it turns out we didn't really need new laws to secure the border. We just needed a new president.
That was solid.
And the crowd went absolutely wild. Yeah.
Pete Hegseth posting this 7 hours ago at the border today with two great Americans, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard. Border security equals national security. The difference under this POTUS is night and day. Brian, get the clock going. Thank you for having us, Mr. VP. And then we have this from Rapid Response 47, John Ratcliffe. What's he saying?
To receive. Well, Maria, I can tell you that this terrorist who goes by the nom de guerre Jafar is in U.S. custody. I was there at Dulles Airport last night to receive him, along with FBI Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. So, as you've seen, as the country has seen, the president had a to-do list. We are working at warp speed, and one of the first things that he told me as CIA director was to make this a priority on counterterrorism, to find the people responsible. Remember, the Biden administration had 3.5 years to do this. They didn't find anyone. They didn't hold anyone accountable for those 13 U.S. service members killed at Abbey Gate. My second day on the job, Maria, I spoke with the head of Pakistani intelligence. I shared with him intelligence that we had indicating that Jafar was located in the Afghan-Pakistan border region. I told him if he wanted to work with President Trump and have good relations with our country, that they would make this a high priority. So we worked with Pakistani intelligence. Jafar was apprehended in short order and is in the United States to face justice. It's the Trump effect, Maria. Everywhere I go, everyone I talk to, all of our foreign partners, allies, and even problematic allies want to do more with the United States. It's the Trump effect. And you saw that play out, and you're going to continue to see that play out as President Trump really wants to make sure that our intelligence community and our law enforcement community, instead of being weaponized to go after political opponents, is doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is to work together for American justice, to hold our adversaries accountable to the American people. And he put an exclamation on that, an exclamation point on that last night. It's great to be a part of it.
And let's see what else we've got going on here. Here's U.S. Border Patrol Chief Mike Banks crediting Trump, the administration's strong policies for a 95% drop in illegal crossings at the border.
Yeah, that's great.
Banks says over the past week, Border Patrol has apprehended an average of 285 migrants per day along the entire southern border. He says that's down 95% from the same time last year. Wow. Banks credited the decline with the increased federal and state assistance that Border Patrol has received.
The strong law enforcement posture that we have out there with our partners assisting us from the DOD to the Texas National Guard, we're being able to send a message that if you cross the border, your chances of being apprehended are much greater. And if you are apprehended, you're going to be removed from the country. Banks says over the past week, Border Patrol has apprehended an average of 285 migrants per day along the entire southern border.
That's amazing. Here's Carly Bonet. Mr. Palmer talking about charges.
Mayor Johnson. Mr. Adams, did you swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States?
Yes, I do.
How about you, Mayor Johnson?
Yes, sir, I did.
How about you, the other Mayor Johnson?
Yeah, the Constitution of the United States as well as the Constitution of Illinois.
Okay, and Mayor,
yes.
You did. Are you familiar with the Supremacy Clause? Any of you?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Then under the Supremacy Clause, you understand that the laws of the United States take precedent over the laws of Colorado, over the laws of Illinois, over the laws of Massachusetts, and your cities. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
But when you declared your cities sanctuary cities, you did so illegally. Do you understand that?
Respectfully, sir, I would disagree with that. We follow
You're
every
disagreeing
federal
with
law.
the law. It's against the law to give sanctuary to people who have committed felonies, and it's a felony to cross the border illegally. You gave sanctuary to people who are here illegally. You violated your oath to uphold the Constitution because of the Supremacy Clause. The laws of the United States take preference. But you didn't do that.
There is, thank you, sir. There's no part of our city law that violates federal law. No part of the practices or services we provided that violate federal law.
Did you personally violate the law then by giving sanctuary? Somebody gave these people sanctuary. You declared your city. The city of Boston was declared a sanctuary city by you, Mayor.
Being a sanctuary city, as you describe it, or being a city as we describe it, that's home for everyone. It means that if you commit a crime, you're held accountable
to people who are here illegally,
status.
And when you interfere with the officers of the law who are there to even remove people that you know have committed crimes, you have violated your oath of office. You've committed a crime, Mr. Chairman. I don't understand why we haven't been discussing obstruction of justice. I mean, get real about this. We have a problem in the country with the people who have come here illegally. And I just gave you a few names of people who have been raped and murdered. There are numerous others. There's a whole organization established called Remembrance to remember the people who have been assaulted, raped, murdered in this country because certain cities, certain officials decided to give sanctuary to people who came here illegally and committed these crimes. It goes all the way back to Kate Steinle, San Francisco, shot by someone who was here illegally. She would still be alive today. She died in the arms of her father. So I want to know if you understand the Supremacy Clause, that the laws of the United States are supreme over whatever your opinions might be of what the laws are.
Sir, I do recognize that. We do follow that. I want to clarify that we actively, aggressively pursue any known criminal in the city. And we actually partner with the federal government to do that. If there is someone with a criminal warrant, we're searching for them. We have federal task forces we're partners of to break up gang activity. We do that for drug trafficking. We do that on armed robberies. So we are in partnership with the federal government on many issues around.
Mayor Adams is being attacked because he's agreed to cooperate with federal officials to uphold the laws of the United States. I haven't heard any of you in defense of that.
We are absolutely upholding the laws of the United States. We do it every day, and we will continue to do it.
I just think we need to do a deeper dive into this, Mr. Chairman. If it were up to me, I mean, I'd be considering referring charges. I think we've got a problem here when we decide that there's some laws that we will obey and some laws that we won't. I don't care who it is, Republican, Democrat, I don't care what office you hold. We need to abide by the laws passed by.
Will the gentleman yield?
No, I will not yield. Mr. Chairman,
no, I will not yield. I'm going to let these Democrat mayors who are testifying in the committee about how they're breaking the laws. I'm not going to yield. I'm going to refer them for criminal charges.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one thing I'm really looking forward to throughout the entirety of the Trump administration. I want to see people starting to get investigated, exposed, arrested, charged, convicted, and put in prison. So far, we haven't seen any of that. But I believe it is coming, especially with Doge, especially since they started following the money. So many crimes are going to be exposed soon. And I do think people are going to start going to prison before the end of the Trump administration.
I hope so. Yeah. Americans want to see accountability.
We want to see accountability. We want to see justice.
We don't want to see people who get promotions for breaking the law. We've seen that for administration after administration. You know, that they become failures and somehow they get a bigger budget.
There's a lot of corruption in the federal government, and we want to see that fixed. And the only real evidence of it being fixed, I think, will be people getting put in prison for their crimes.
I think so, yeah. This is from CBS. This is actually from about a week ago. But they had a ride-along at the border. And you can see they didn't see a single migrant.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
President Trump is getting illegal immigrant scumbags like these off of our streets. I mean, you can just look at some of these crimes on the screen right here.
Yeah, that's
murder. I mean, what's this guy in the top? Like, what, convicted of that?
Like, come on.
What is this guy doing? You know?
Yeah. Evil people.
I mean, look at all these. Look at the crimes. I don't even want to say what they are, but you can see on the screen. And these are the.
You know what? Okay, here's an idea. I got an idea. You know how we deter criminal immigrants? We 3x all of the penalties for all crimes if you are an illegal immigrant. If you get caught and you get put in prison for 5 years for a particular crime, if you're an illegal immigrant, 15 years, right? We got to bring back the death penalty in America. Come on. Some of these crimes are so horrific.
Yeah.
I think that needs to happen. You know, if somebody gets in prison for 50 years, we make it life. You know, that kind of thing. Let's 3x all of the penalties for committing crimes in America if you're an illegal immigrant. That's what I think.
Here's George Beasy tweets. The Democrat mayor of Boston just sent a message to all illegal aliens in her city using their foreign languages. You belong here. This is your home. Okay.
Jeez.
Because we are safe. You belong here. This is your home. Boston es tu hogar. Boston, c'est la caillou. This is our city. We are the safest major city in the nation because we are safe for everyone. You belong here.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. What else? Okay.
You're not going to be the safest city for long.
Here is Frontline's Borders Are Tom Homan confirmed to White House correspondent Monica Page. Oh, wow.
Because the dad has been held.
Do you have an update on the 350,000 missing children under the Biden administration?
We're just now working on that. We just started working on that because the dad has been held up. But we started an effort already.
It seems as though this administration knows exactly where these illegal criminals are hiding out in these sanctuary cities. Is it possible that the previous administration knew exactly where they were but actively chose not to go after them?
Of course. If you look at what happened with the Biden administration, we had record historic illegal immigration on board. Historic. Millions, right? ICE had the lowest number of interior enforcement removals in the history of the agency. That's not by accident. That's by design. And that's why right now our arrests and interior are about 3 times higher than Biden. We got a 97% decrease in border crossings. President Trump's been a game changer. He proves every day to me and the rest of this country why he's the greatest president of my lifetime, because he secured the border in a matter of weeks, and the Biden administration failed to do it in 4 years.
Do you have an update
Monica
on the
Page TV? Who's Monica Page? I think I saw her in the press room today. Actually, yeah. And I'm not following her, but I'm following her now.
50,000 missing.
And let's see what else is going on here. What? Turning Point USA.
That was fun. That was a fun one.
Down.
That was a fun one.
Oh, wow. Cool. Let's hear this one.
In this country.
What's your name?
I don't like your T-shirt. I'm an immigrant.
Says
I don't
Gulf of
understand
America,
why
the t-shirt.
you would want to deport some of my friends and family who have been working hard in this country.
What's your name, sorry?
I'm Claudio, sir.
Yeah, Claudio. And this is just a thought exercise, but it's very revealing. You are king, and you find out that there are 30 million uninvited people in your country. What do you do with them?
I try to find the most humane way of sending them back to our country. But first of all, I want to say...
That's what we're doing.
Wait.
That's what we're doing. So what country did you emigrate from?
Are you going to, like, discriminate against me?
No, I'm going to do the opposite, actually.
I'm Mexican.
But you came here legally, correct?
I did.
You followed the rules. The people that you know didn't follow the rules.
True.
So I divide America not into Hispanic and white, into rule follower and rule breaker.
Yeah.
And so when someone breaks our rules, there must be justice done. And the most humane way is you go back to your country of origin.
Some of my boys, like, they're being, like, persecuted, like, back home, them and their families, like, they're, like, in, like, drug-related, like, wars and violence. And the only way out is if they escape and they break the American law. But that's the only way they're going to survive.
If that is correct, we have a special asylum status that they could seek legally at a port of entry, that they could go through a whole process.
Yeah, but if they're being persecuted, wouldn't it be justified to cut the line?
No. If we all of a sudden say that if you have a lot of gang violence and issues, I mean, like, we have a lot of gang violence and issues. Like, what are we talking about here?
True.
You have to draw the line. If your plane is going down, what do they tell you to do first? You put your mask on first. It's the same way as a country. We need to put our own oxygen mask on first, and then we can worry about helping other people.
I don't like your T-shirt. I'm an immigrant. I don't understand.
Gulf of America T-shirt. You gotta love it, man.
Yeah, that was a great one. I saw that this morning. I just absolutely love that. Charlie Kirk really kills it when he does these things.
Oh, he's great. No, he certainly is great.
Well, what's amazing is sometimes you get these guys who they don't even realize that what they're saying. He goes, "Well, what would you do?" And he says, "Well, basically exactly what Trump's doing." What? That's his response. Really? That's your response?
We're going to do it humanely. Well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
Oh, man. Okay, let's see what we got here. Here's Secretary of Defense. The brave men and women of America have stepped right up. Let's check it out.
To the Army, to the brave men and women of America have stepped right up. When they see who their commander-in-chief is, what his focus is, back to basics, warfighting standards, accountability, and readiness, they're ready to raise their right hand and join the U.S. military. And from the Marine Corps to the Army to the Air Force to the Navy, we've seen record numbers across the country of Americans saying, I want to serve under the commander-in-chief, President Trump. So it was a cool moment to hear him announce that there. The military has responded. It's a renaissance in the Pentagon, for sure. And it was a historic night. The president gave a historic, strong America First speech, and it was surreal to be right in the front row.
And before I go into
the brave men and women.
That was Brian Kilmeade. You know, it was weird. And when I was in the press room today, I saw Brian Kilmeade come out of the back. Like, he just kind of like walked out and like poked his head out and looked in the press room and then walked back.
You're talking about Pete Hegseth?
No. I heard Brian Kilmeade's voice.
Asking the questions. Yeah, you're right. He was
and
there.
I'm like, oh, wait a second. And then I never saw him again.
So he was probably back there hanging out with Pete.
Yeah, he's just like hanging out, you know.
That's kind of weird, right? Yeah.
That's wild.
Bringing in Fox News people is kind of an unprecedented thing. But he wrote a great book. That's the reason he's in there, is because he wrote this great book. This is how we fix the military, essentially. And Trump liked it and brought him in.
Oh, you're talking about Hegseth?
Hegseth, yeah.
Oh, I was talking about Kilmeade, who I said.
No, but I'm saying probably the reason Kilmeade's in the White House is probably because he's visiting Pete Hegseth, right?
Well, he was just there. I mean, just interviewing Pete Hegseth. So.
Yeah.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth responds to the Chinese embassy threatening the United States. What?
Historic opportunities. But my job is
gears. As the speech wrapped up last night, this was posted by the Chinese embassy. Quote, if war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. As Secretary of Defense, how do you take that?
Well, we're prepared. Those who long for peace must prepare for war. That's why we're rebuilding our military. That's why we're reestablishing deterrence and the warrior ethos, is because we live in a dangerous world with powerful ascendant countries with very different ideologies. You mentioned defense spending. They're rapidly increasing their defense spending. Modern technology. They want to supplant the United States. If we want to deter war with the Chinese or others, we have to be strong. And that president understands peace comes through strength. He also has a great relationship with that gentleman right there, too, Xi Jinping. So where we can partner, where we can cooperate to recognize that we don't want war with China, we don't seek that war, we will. And the president has sought historic peace and historic opportunities. But my job as the Secretary of Defense is to make sure we're ready. We need the defense spending, the capabilities, the weapons, and the posture in the Indo-Pacific, which is something we're very much focusing on.
China as security.
What are your thoughts on that real quick, Chris?
Look, we are the greatest country in the world. We've got the best military. The most money of any organization on the planet is the federal government. More money goes through there. We need to shrink that, obviously. But we have the best people, the kindest people, the most generous people. And trust me when I say this, I have lived all over the world. I've lived in Asia. I've lived everywhere. This is the best country. No country should ever threaten the United States of America because, if we want to, we will obliterate you. But we don't want to because we're good people. And I've been everywhere. There's corruption everywhere. And we need to get our house in order, and that's exactly what's happening with Donald Trump. So other countries shouldn't be threatening us. Other countries should be graciously trying to be friends with us.
Yeah,
people like China and people like Vladimir Zelensky.
Speaking of which, we have a clip here from Mike Waltz, Rapid Response 47, 13 hours ago, speaking of Zelensky.
This was a positive step forward in terms of President Zelensky talking about moving forward towards a partial ceasefire, a full ceasefire, and then a lasting and permanent peace. Frankly, we wish that had been the tone, tenor, and substance in the Oval Office on Friday, and we would be talking about having an already signed minerals deal, binding our economies together in the wake of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the President of France, the Secretary General of NATO. It could have been a tremendous event, but we are where we are now. We think this was a positive step. And I have literally just been on the phone with my counterpart, the Ukrainian National Security Advisor, talking about times, locations, delegations, and truly sitting down for what will be shuttle diplomacy between the United States, the Ukrainians, the United States, the Russians, and then eventually moving them together towards what President Trump has promised, campaigned on, and was elected for, which is ending this war.
And it's about time. We need to end this war. So we've got Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Vice President Vance at the southern border, witnessing the results of Trump's immigration crackdown firsthand. Meanwhile, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed what many of us already know. Our neighbors to the north and south have allowed America to be a dumping ground, not just for illegal aliens, but for illegal poisonous fentanyl. And President Trump made it clear there will be repercussions for that. It's not just about enforcing laws. It's about reclaiming our national sovereignty and protecting American lives from drugs and gangs and violent criminals. So here's what Americans should be asking tonight. If Trump could secure the border in just 44 days through executive action alone, why didn't the Biden administration do the same? Was there failure due to incompetence, or was it their deliberate strategy to flood the country with illegal immigrants so they could try to get more voters? You guys answer that, because the truth seems painfully obvious. But we do want to hear your take on why Democrats fought so hard against the very policies that are now protecting American lives. Okay? Now, hit the link in the description down below, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, and join the MAG Avengers and show your support for the Next News Network.